Here's Johnny. Thank you, Ed. Well, hello there, social media family. Being of any persons among yourselves, from my subscribers to visitors alike, or my bad correction, even so, then because not any visitors to my own personal, my own particular personal YouTube social media channel, and likewise chat room conversation, can or could possibly be considered as being officially of my social media family. Well, at least not until more of any visitors were to think of it with my intentions to possibly and or finally subscribe to it, being of some and such of the same of the said in question and or the aforementioned. Otherwise, you will not be as much recognized and respected by me. You yourself are not really recognizing or realizing my own domain that I am the sole owner thereof by taking the liberty to possibly and or finally subscribe to it, then because I still need 4,000 subscribers so that I could, possibly and or finally get paid by YouTube administrative representative personnel for producing any video broadcast that is video or should I say social media broadcast of video content or video broadcast of social media or whatever I would say. Before I could finally get paid for producing any social media broadcast of video content is what I meant to say. Prince of Peace continue regular in my mind compared to our Prince of Darkness to conclude my speech, regardless of whether or not I myself am speaking correct standard English grammar of the American dialect. As I think of it with that in my mind, just to backtrack here, the reason or purpose of being in order so I could complete a former line of thought when my person at last left off by going on with the following. But then, nevertheless, I will continue to produce any social media broadcasts of video content material, being of which is of a religious nature, provided that it being of some or such don't become or be a conflict of interest with that being of my own beliefs of faith, or with exception if it is. Otherwise, I will produce anything being that nature free of charge. Okay. But then, how are you all doing, my social media family? Being of any subscribers and or that subscribers and or visitors, even so, who are supposed to be affiliated, associated with, and are representing my own particular YouTube social media channel, and likewise chat room conversation. And for that matter, how are any of your loved ones, being any persons among themselves, being from relatives or family members of your many different personal households, to friends for that matter, being of whom are associated, if they're associated and are representing yourselves, you and yours. Otherwise, hopefully all's well that ends well, with those being of whom are related to and or loved ones otherwise, or close friends, as well as relatives and family members of yours. And hopefully the same or something that can or could possibly be said and stated for the record when it comes to me and mine. And moving right along. Now, I would like to discuss at least a couple few matters, subject matters that come to mind, you know, of topics to be debated, of giving arguments with the many different views and or opinions to be affiliated or associated with and or representing some such thereof. And as I would think to speak my mind and give my take upon some of such from my own personal perspective and on narrative. So just bear with me. And please leave your comments in the chat room. Just don't come off like any internet troll characters. Because if you do that, then I myself reserve the sole rights and privileges to end your chat. And if you persist to become or be annoying as a rather obnoxious person of interest as that being, be you a closet criminal riffraff of some kind, sort, or type or not, then from there, I will take further action as I am serving as my own moderator for my social media channel with this particular network, as well as I could with some such other ones that I had accounts with. Until I would feel comfortable with appointing somebody else to become or be considered as my second in command, whereas one would do all that of the necessary business at hand. So I myself, being a my person, can or could possibly focus upon much more important things or matters, being of which is to produce quality over quantity material or social media broadcast video content for you all. Otherwise, I presently will be silencing somebody's chat if you prove to become disrespectful to my social media channel and or offend me. And then if you persist in possibly attempting to become or be annoying in an obnoxious way that could border on being possibly criminal in nature, then from there, I will just have to block you altogether and taking further that is from my channel and or chat room comment section of social media, so that you will not interrupt the proceedings, and put a damper on things or attempt to rain on my parade and make the atmosphere of cyberspace for my own domain that I am the sole owner thereof quite an uncomfortable atmosphere. And that's not going to happen because I'm not going to permit anybody else to use my platform to become their dumping grounds for, the garbage and mess of confusion or ignorance and or insanity or stupidity and or sickness. We'll get more than enough of that influences in a negative way, or so much negativity coming from any street characters out there elsewhere, as well as within the building here, coming from the likes who could be possibly moonlighting as some and such, being of certain neighbors, the likes among themselves, the public nuisances of problem neighbors, who would be much more commonly called and or commonly known as proverbial neighbors from damn hell characters. And so much for that conversation and dialogue and moving right along. Okay, let's just dive into the present social media broadcast that we have, the video content material, and where I'm going to try to speak upon at least a couple of few subject matters, a topic discussion to be debated, given arguments with the many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing some of such thereof. And where one is, for example, whereas I had lost some of such of my personal effects, belongings, or possessions, and I much more suspect that it is a matter that the loss at hand is resulting in developments from theft at the hands of a robber or thief coming off like a pickpocketer, you know? And that really had hurted me because whenever I lose something, it feels like as if I myself personally have been raped, you know? And that's an ugly feeling, you know? Seriously, though. And all the while reflecting upon how my person am upon a rather limited and or fixed income, you know. So I cannot afford to be losing something of value, whereas I would have to replace it coming my own pocket or wallet, you know, for that to be considered of my own personal finances, whereas I would have to juggle some bill payments. And I don't like doing that, you know. Yeah. And where it could have been some anybody, everybody that could have, you know, copped or confiscated that off of me without my knowledge, as well as without my permission or without my consent. And whereas it could have, you know, possibly been a fellow pedestrian upon a sidewalk, or it could have been possibly a fellow commuter that had become part of the ridership of a of a public transportation system with all of its many different bus and train routes, or it could have possibly been a fellow patron for an atmosphere for its premises properties of a place of business, regardless of whether it would be public or private at any given address location, or it could have possibly been one of these present public nuisances or problem neighbors, being the likes of aka neighbors from damn hell, who could have possibly taken the item product of merchandise from me all the while I was sleeping after committing the act of unlawful home invasion or illegal criminal trespassing, and then to have done so while I was sleeping with knowledge, you know, like that, without my knowledge as well as without my permission or without my consent, rather than what I meant to say. Correction. Principle continues to regulate my mind compared to how it attempts to complete my speech. But nevertheless, it had happened, and I can't do anything about it at the moment until I were to get my money right. Oh, Kanye West, being that Hollywood or Hollywood weird celebrity, would say in his song and singing, you know, so that I could replace it. You know. The majority of most Hollywood or Hollywood celebrities are just that weird, being because that's only been because they sold their souls to the devil and spent those matters now they come mad. But anyway, though, not that I'm wagging the dog or change the subject, but then to get back to such other. And whereas the second issue I wish to address, and this had happened like hours after I had lost something of a nature of my own personal effects, belongings, and possessions, only to be falsely accused by a security guard for the premises properties of a branch public library of falsely accusing me of stealing something, you know. And whereas if it were not for me trying to leave that particular public library branch at a given address location at that given moment in time, although I was not restrained, I would have reported her to her superior. But I was trying to leave so I could call it a day because I was dog tired, you know. And I was thinking from there, well, I'm just gonna address the issue some other day, you know, discuss matters with superior because I don't like that, you know, because I could have came so close to, you know, giving her a physical gesture of the likes of this here, you know what I'm saying, or at least, you know, to improvise, to substitute or replace it with this here, as well as I could have gave her quite a few choice words otherwise that would relate to, you know, the finger flipping her the bird, if you know what I mean. Read between lines, fill in the blanks, as in employ the uses of expletives or profanity, or to put in layman's terms, that would be translated to be defined as meaning I could have cussed her out, but I was feeling just so dog tired. I didn't want to be bothered with that nonsense come from her in one regard or another, you know. Where she asked me, did I put something in my pocket that don't belong to me? I said, no. And then, you know, she let me go. So she couldn't hold me because I didn't do anything. Then if she did, I would have sued the library, as well as the police for false arrest, as well as sue her for slander and libel, you know, for falsely accusing me of theft. But anyway, I'm going to take care of that business some other day. It just had me reflect on how still another security guard, like today, whereas this was a male though, of the same sex compared to she herself for the security guard for today that had made me become subject to experiencing all that nonsense or confusion on her part representing the opposite sex. But this male of the same sex some days ago, still another security guard, he damn near bumped into my physical body, and whereas he had done that on purpose, whereas I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But with all things considered, this nigga SOB bastard. Oh, let me pray that this black brother of a non-white male come off like a character, assuming me to be a street riff-raff criminal, had like as if he was starting something. I don't know what he could have possibly heard about me for the area I was in. I don't care. I'm like, talk what you know, not what you assume. And I tried to get back with his supervisor, but I'm gonna give me the runaround. As far as I know, I could have been talking to him on the opposite end of a phone line, was he could have got my name and phone number from there because I did give it. I did give both. So I got the runaround. I ain't gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna look into that some other time as well. That once again, but then I have you look into this other matter with still another security guard sometime later. The first time. Yeah. So that's all that I have to share with you all for the moment. But then on the last note of interest, I'd like to say, if you haven't gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, I would hope that you would think to do so now while the blood is still running warm in your veins by recognizing what he himself had done or did upon the cross of Calvary on the hill of Golgotha, suffering at the hands of Romans, sold up under orders of their superiors, being more like so, or mainly mostly religious Pharisees and Sadducees, as they had been given command orders to nail him to the cross of Calvary between two thieves. But he went to fulfill biblical prophecy so that you don't have to go to damn hell or anybody else that profess faith in him, regardless of how broad is the way that leads to destruction, narrow is the way that leads to life, the few that be that find it, but so that you could become a citizen in the kingdom of heaven. Hopefully, while we're here, we bless another by sharing with the gospel of salvation, our Lord and Savior Christ. You all take care of it out. Peace.